Hey, everybody, we certainly want to welcome you to Barbecue Champs Academy Live tonight. We got a great show with Mr. Kell from the Barbecue News Magazine, and I am so excited to have him on. It's a wonderful magazine. We're going to get to pick his brain and talk a little bit about barbecue and steak competitions. So I know as people come in here, we're going to give everybody just a few minutes to come in. And then if you got any questions for Mr. Kell, we'll certainly allow you to do that. Let us know that you're in. This is going to be a great show once again with Kell Phelps from the Barbecue News Magazine. Got about an hour-long show tonight. We think we got plenty to talk about, and we got some things that we do want to cover. We certainly do want to give a shout-out to all those people that have taken our classes, our alumni that's taken the Barbecue Champ Academy classes, both in the barbecue and the steak, and give you guys a shout out for an outstanding weekend. We've had so many people that's had top 10 finishes in the steak and also in the barbecue. We've got one that we're going to really talk about. He set a record in the SCA, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later in the show. But we certainly do want to give a shout out to all of our partners that make this happen. Mr. Danny over at Be Extreme Barbecue, Jason at Papa Joe Grilling Supplies, our buddies at B&B Charcoal, Mr. Brian Crawford at Lone Star Barbecue Pro Shop. Brian, we do appreciate you keeping everybody supplied with rubs and sauces that buy our classes, and we greatly appreciate you being on board for that. You've got an amazing product with your Crawford's Barbecue Pit products as well. Mr. Craig Sherry with Texas Pepper Jelly. He was on last week. And Gunnar Wilhelm Knives. Mr. David, we appreciate it. We're working a special deal for all of our customers with Gunnar Wilhelm. We're trying to create something unique for the holidays coming. And also our newest partner that we want to talk about is Barbecue News Magazine, and that's the publisher and editor that'll be on tonight. And we do appreciate them coming on board with Barbecue Champs Academy. So if you're coming in, please let us know. Certainly do want to give everybody a shout out. I see a few of them's already coming. There's Miss Vanessa. Hello, how y'all doing tonight? I see Mr. Matt Overson. Hey, buddy, how are you doing? Congratulations on another outstanding weekend. We're going to talk a little bit about a record setting that was that happened this weekend. So there's Mr. Danny. We had talked about him just a minute ago. And Mr. Ronald up from Minnesota. And if you come in, just let us know. We're going to have a great show. If you got any questions, once again, please let us know. So without any further ado, we got folks steadily coming in. We're going to go ahead and bring in Mr. Kell Phelps, and let's welcome him in. Let's see if we can get him added in here. Hello, Mr. Kell. How are you doing?
Hey, what's up, guys? Appreciate you guys having us. And man, I got to tell you, Mike, we're stoked to be here. And just thank you guys with the Barbecue Champs Academy. You have got something that is that's smoking like never before, and we're just proud to be a part and to talk with everybody about anything barbecue going on in the world for sure.
Yeah, well, Kell, we certainly appreciate you being here, and we appreciate you being our new partner with Barbecue Champs. I gave everybody the plug and told everybody about it. We're thankful to have you, and I'm glad that we can work together and network together to make barbecue and steaks better. That's what it's all about.
That's the bottom line. Yes, sir.
So I've asked people as they come in, and so far, just to let you know, we got Mr. Danny Helms on here. We got Mr. Terry Roan. Hey, Mr. Terry, how you doing, sir?
Hey.
Glad you're here. We got Matt Overson's on here. There's Mr. Alan Smith, and going to be a great time. I'm certainly hoping so. So we've got a few other ones. Miss Vanessa with Papa Joe's Grilling Supply. So we've got some folks steadily coming on. We hope more will show up, and if you do, just let us know. We'll let everybody know that you're here, and certainly give you a shout out. But at this time, we want to talk to the man of the hour. And Kell, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got started. Are you a competition cooker? And if so, how did you get influenced into it? Did you have an influencer, a mom, a dad, a grandfather, an aunt, an uncle? How did you get into it, and do you do competition barbecue?
Well, man, I appreciate it. And yeah, we got a pretty, to be almost 50 years old, I'm considered to be an old cat in the barbecue world. So I cut my teeth early on, man. I was 9, 10 years old. My dad and his fishing partner, very early on, was always trying something new and different. And our families got together and cooked out all the time. And just so happens the Big Pig Jig, which is in Vienna, Georgia, at
Oh
that
yeah,
time,
Robbie Roll's backyard.
yeah, they had
Yeah,
regional events around, and so we're only about 45 minutes, maybe an hour from there.
right,
And so if you won their regional events, you got an automatic bid into the Big Pig Jig to cook.
right, right.
Lo and behold, so they got together and started practicing, and they won that thing, man. And when they
Wow.
won it, it was hands down. Then we were wide open, and so at an early age, I started in competition barbecue, and this was back in the old school. You loaded your pickup trucks up, and we have a lot of Memphis in May or Memphis Barbecue Network type deal. So you had to build your own little site and stuff there. So I've always been a handyman, just a builder or whatever. So even as a kid, I was building sinks and ways to collect water and just kind of crazy stuff with our little barbecue team. But that's how I kind of got started in it. My dad and his fishing buddy, Doc Gillis, from here, they're both here out of Douglas, Georgia, got us into barbecue. And from there, man, they went to Memphis in May, and they never made it to the American Royal, but they later on went and judged and all that. But as we got going, my mom and the local town on my newspaper and a shopping guide. So as we got going around, it was kind of in the know. I mean, you had to do a lot of talking and have friends in different places to know where the different events were happening. Of course, this was, in the late 80s, middle 80s, no internet going on or whatever yet. So they said, well, heck, let's start a little newspaper about it. So that's where Barbecue News started from. And it was a little tabloid 4-pager. And, of course, it was set for us. I mean, we had the print and press. My mom did the layout and stuff. And Doc Gillis, he always joked around. He said, I always want to know what kind of editor I would make, for a newspaper.
Right.
And so that's what it kicked off as. Basically, it kicked off as a event schedule for all the different organizations, and then KCBS was started getting hot and growing really fast, and then the bullshit come out, and so all those things all kind of happened when I was in high school, basically starting out going into college. But that's how we kind of got started with Barbecue News. And I've always, even back then, I worked with my mom and dad at the print and press. So I was, printing the papers, putting labels on them, mailing them, and always, going to different smaller events that I could around, and always burning ribs up or cooking, trying some new recipe or something. Kid folks, I tell people the first time I ever tried to cook a brisket, my dog would not even eat it. I burned it so bad.
Oh, wow.
So come a long way since then, but thank goodness. But so long story short, they sold the newspaper and all that to a big corporation, Thompson Newspapers, down in Valdosta, Georgia, on the area of newspapers and all here. So they bought everything here, the print and press, the news. The only thing they didn't buy was the Barbecue News. That was Daddy and Dog, and they took that thing from there, and they really hit it hard. I mean, they would go event to each event, and a lot of times they were judging, not necessarily cooking,
right?
Because it just took so much time to go and cook,
right?
So, but they would go and judge and mingle and hang out with the different cook teams or whatever. So they really grew it hand over fist those first couple of years after they had sold the magazine. and Doc was a dentist. So he had kind of semi-retired as well. So they would go in different places, sometimes not going to the same event, but really grew it. And then I was part of that deal when they sold the newspaper. I had to go to work for a corporation thing, and I did not really – I didn't fit in very well with that deal. I'd always been in a mom and pop deal where, you know, you weren't just another number.
Right.
And you were – if you didn't show up, somebody had to take your place, and it really put people in a bind. So you were dependent upon. Well, when you get in that corporation deal, you know, and you got 100 employees around, 2 or 3 lay out, well, then you learn supervisors pick up the slack, and that's what they expect you to do. And another long story short, I fell asleep after about a 42-hour stint running straight. And coming back from Valdosta, it's about a 60-mile drive one way to work. I was going every day. And so I decided, you know, that was it. I was ready to do something different. And so I talked to Daddy and Doc, and we sit down one Saturday, and they both told me, they said, son, I don't think you're going to ever get rich doing this. But if you want to, we know you enjoy doing it. You love barbecue. You love and you know a lot of the folks already in it. So if you really want to do something you love doing, this would be right for you. And
right.
So I went and I said, well, I'll tell you what, if the bank will loan me the money, then we'll consider it sold. I said, but I don't want to put y'all out in no kind of way. I said, this will be a real deal, no hand-me-down or whatever. So the next day the bank said, yes, sir, we'll loan you the money. So,
wow.
So 2002, I was off going on my own.
How about that? So that is unbelievable. So the magazine's been around for this. You said this is the 30-year anniversary of this magazine. Has been around. So man, y'all are the grassroots of barbecue. I mean.
Ooh,
sounds like your dad.
I mean,
I don't know, man. 1980, man, you're going way back there. So
yeah, in the 80s, yeah, we.
I mean, that's getting back there when competitions were probably far between. So I doubt there was a whole lot of competitions going on back then, and to be in the middle of all that back then, that had to be pretty cool. So. That is,
it was a lot different from the way it is today, I guarantee.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you've got stuff everywhere now. Well, that is, and Matt says that's a cool story. It really is. You know, you start seeing something like that and how it started, and then you had a magazine that was actually documented. Like you said, I heard you say just a second ago, there was no internet back then. So you had no way. And I heard you say you had a bullsheet. And that was your little newsletter that how you kept people kind of in the loop of what was going on. So
right. So and actually the bullshit is the KCBS newsletter, right? So when it first started, we printed it for them. We printed it for KCBS in our facility and mailed it just like we did our paper or whatever. I mean, it really, you know, that's early on. That's one thing we learned about the business side of barbecue is, you know. Rule number 1 is have fun with it. If it's not fun, and whether you're competing or, you know, slaving for hours in a restaurant, it's hard to do it if you're not having fun.
Right. That's true.
Same thing with us. And there's plenty, once people start having fun with it and enjoy it, there's plenty to go around. So we didn't really look at it as a competition thing. We actually wanted to help spread and make it bigger and bigger. And that's exactly what's happened.
Yeah. So you started you're doing barbecue competition. I know you still do some barbecue competitions when you get time for BBQ and Steak.
Man, I'll be honest with you. I try to touch some of all of it. I mean, I've even, you know, I've done some restaurant stuff, caterings. I do some competitions. I do some judging. Just so I don't feel like I'm an outsider.
Right.
You know, it's hard to speak the language, and man, there's so many newcomers now, especially like out west,
right?
With the California Association, and we're blessed. We get to work with all these different associations. You know, we got Minnesota, California, New England, Northeast,
right,
Mid-Atlantic. All these associations get the magazine every month, and what's really hard is I'm not able. I wish I could divide up and
Right.
go out. That was the idea behind the 30th anniversary tour. Was we were going to make the trip, and we were going all the way around, all the way out to California. We're coming all the way up northeast and hit some of those events. But I can promise you this: we didn't make it because of all the virus stuff going around. But we will kick it back off again coming in March with the SCA World Championship.
Right.
We got plans to do that. If everything keeps going and progressing as it is, I think we'll make it. And but if not, as soon as it's possible,
you're gonna get out and do it.
Trailer up and we'll be gone.
Yeah. So, well, I tell you what, that is pretty neat. I want to run over real quick and pop up the website. It's Barbecue News Magazine. It's barbecuenews.com, and it's BARBECUE. And it's a monthly subscription magazine. You can buy a print. Is that how that is? If you want a print, are you also? And I'll tell you what. Let's do. Let's pop over here and we'll take a look at the website real quick. Let me come over here. This is actually the website, and it also has a little snippet inside, a digital as well. I know that the October issue just came out. And we're going to get to that here in just a second. So I see you've got back issues and stuff like that. So how much is a digital subscription, and how much is the printed, or how do you do that?
Right. So the print subscription is actually it's in a hard copy format.
Okay.
Slick cover.
Oh man, that's nice.
The inside's not slick, but we print it and mail it to you.
Right.
And it goes out. That's $25 for 12 issues. So it's
so it's $25 a year. Well, that's very reasonable. So
yeah.
And it's got a lot of info. I tell you what. I mean, I had never got my hands on it until I actually saw the part, and I was like, man, this thing is loaded with information. So I mean, I think if you're a barbecue or a steak enthusiast, I highly recommend getting in the magazine. Now that's the print; it's $25. What about the digital? Is there a cost for the digital?
Yep, the digital issue is $15 a year, and that gives you. That's actually going to give you 24 issues. So basically, when you get the digital issue, you automatically get the 12 issue, the back issues that are there now.
Okay,
and then you will get the next 12 that'll be coming. So for $15, you actually get 24 issues with that.
Wow. That is so cool. So I tell you what, let's dive in a little bit and let's go take a look at that. So we'll go back to we saw the website, and on the home page it had this month's issue. So I've actually already got it open so we could take a look at it, because this is something that I was kind of proud of. So this is when you click. This is on the home page, and when you click it, it comes up to the cover. And it actually shows the magazine, and that winning steak right there is inside Matt Overson's class that was shot here at Barbecue Champs Academy. And I remember you had your publisher or your editor or writer, I guess he's the writer, Mark. He said we want a beautiful shot of a steak, and we still shot that off the video in 4K and got a very nice digital picture. And, once you go into the magazine, I see you've got a content page, you've got backyard stuff, you've got a business section, you got competition stuff. So it's really laid out. I see you got a lot of advertisers. There's Old Hickory. And you've got some outstanding writers. That is, awesome. I've read some of these. It's really well put together magazine. You've got some great contributors this. And I was absolutely blown away that this is the feature article that was done on Barbecue Champs Academy. In the world of barbecue, it's the people you meet and the friends you make. And, Mark interviewed me for probably an hour and a half on the phone. And I just told him the story about Barbecue Champs. And, I mean, we literally talked for a little over an hour and a half. And he said, well, I'm going to write something, and I'll send it to you, and you kind of look over it, make sure I got all of it right. And, I mean, he wrote, what is this, 1, 2, 3, 4 full pages of article on us, and I was like, man, you got every bit of this. Like there was one thing that he thought the secondary class in the steak stuff was an insulary, and I said no, it's just a regular recipe. And he was like, I said that's it, you know. And I mean, it was so well put together, and I was just like, my gosh, how in the world did you remember all that? So you have got some very talented writers.
Man,
And
I'll be honest with you. Over the years, we have just been. I mean, I can't tell you how blessed it is for us. I mean, when you look at some of the people who have offered to contribute to us on a monthly basis, I mean, you know, of course now the Hall of Fame's out with the American Royal, but you got Artie who is there always.
right.
Paul Kirk with some of the recipes. Excuse me, but man, it's just phenomenal at how these guys contribute on a monthly basis. They make us happen, no doubt.
Right. Go ahead. Get you some water and clear it out. Well, I tell you what, I'll pop back over there real quick while you're saying that. Instead of just us looking at our mugs at the same time, we'll just, as you're talking about it, I'll just kind of scroll through the magazine because I think, I mean, you know, $15, you can actually get a very well informed magazine. I mean, it covers SCA, building the sport of steak cook-offs. It's got the write-up about us. Tailgating may have to be a bit different this year. I think that's a great article right there. It's going to be quite different. You got some B&B charcoals, cooking tips. We've had Ed Riley on here. He's one of our sponsors.
Yeah.
So you've got quite a few. You got a place if somebody wants to promote their rubs or sauces or, you know, I mean, there's my buddy Brian. I didn't just now notice that we're 407. So you've got restaurants in here as well. So people that are traveling, barbecue events that are coming up. I mean, just there's Old Meathead. I mean,
Old Meathead.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Big Green Egg stuff, Minnesota in May. You know, I mean, that's the Barbecue Society. I didn't even know about that so much. Barbecue Pit Life, Pit Life Barbecue Podcast. So there's podcasts that you was talking about, and you told me that you list a lot of those.
Yeah,
it's just got a lot of information in it, and it's just a very, very well put together magazine. Events, I guess these are barbecue events and stuff that's happening. Cooking schools, judging schools.
Exactly, and that's you know, that's one of the things. That's probably one of the hardest things we do. Is to keep a up to date and clean calendar. So no matter where you're at or what you're into, whether you're in the States or whether you're in the World Food Championship deal or
KCBS,
KCBS, Florida, Georgia, IBCA, any of those organizations, we try to keep a clean list of all those on our calendar. Right. And man, now you want to talk about pulling some hair. My wife Janet, and she's my go-to. She does that for us every month. But when all this virus stuff happened and all the events started canceling or changing and postponing, I cannot tell you how many hours she actually spent going through all the different websites and calling people. Hey, are you having it? Yes. Are you having it or not? And
find out what's canceled, what's not canceled.
Exactly. And we did. You know, we talked a little bit about this early on about proofreading and stuff, how we made mistakes or whatever. But man, I think we made one or two on some events. And so we apologize for that. But with all the changes that were happening, it's really amazing at how Janet was able to pull that off, and still even now, you know, keeping all that together. That's almost a full-time job within itself. But that's what we started as, was actually a calendar of events. Right. So for us, it's very important to keep that going. Brad Barrett with Grill Greats told me one time. He said, we were doing some question and answer stuff about what you read, what you don't like, what you know. And he said, man, and we had one time talked about maybe doing away with the calendar so that we could actually put more information in there versus events and stuff. He said, that's the first place I go to. I want to see events that are in my area.
Right.
And he said, man, you'd be crazy to do that.
Right.
So, those are the ideas that we get from people, whether they're readers, whether they're backyard guys, whether they're competition guys, whether they're business guys.
Right.
And we take all that input no matter where they're at. And that's where we try to come up with what we got now is actually a magazine format. I think I told you early on, we started out as a real 8.5 by 11 folded up newsletter. I mean,
right.
it was mailed to about 300 folks.
Right.
Well, so
I tell you what, you've done an amazing job with that magazine, and that article that you wrote on Barbecue Champs Academy, or not you, Mark wrote.
Yeah, it's not us, man.
That was. I tell you what, that was an unbelievable article. I thought Mark did an amazing job. If anybody wants to know a little bit about Barbecue Champs from a very unbiased opinion, I mean, he just said, look, I'm gonna interview you. I'm gonna watch a class. As a matter of fact, he bought Matt. He was the first person that bought Matt Overson's class. So Mark, I know you're on here, and you was the first person that bought Matt's class when we launched it, and you did once again an amazing job of that article. And he told me, he said, look, I'm gonna listen to you. I'm gonna watch the video. I'm gonna give you an unbiased opinion on it. And if anybody wants to know about Barbecue Champs and a completely unbiased opinion, he said, I'm gonna tell it like it is. And man, he called me after he watched the video, and he said, everything that you told me was true. He said, the way that you explain it, the information that you get out of the cookers, the deer in the headlight look sometimes they get when like, whoa, I mean, I didn't know y'all was going to have to answer that question. And, and that's what I do. I tell the guys, look, we're not stopping. We're not editing. We're going to roll film. So don't expect me to stop. Well, they're standing in front of me. They don't, I'm telling you, we're not stopping. And I ask questions, and sometimes I probably catch them off guard with some of the things I ask, but I want to get all the information out of it because I want people to know just how good the classes are. And so it's just an outstanding article that Mark wrote on this, and I really do appreciate it. With that said, we need to give out, I know that Matt was at a competition this past weekend, and I tell you right now, we had, I just want to read this because this is something that we posted on our Facebook page Sunday after I got this information from Matt. But we had one of our alumni, one of our customers that took Matt's class. His name is Mark Simmers, or Seamers, Siemers, Seamers. And he cooked in only his third ever, in only his fifth ever competition in SC8. And I think he had taken Matt's class about 2 weeks before the competition this weekend. And he had cooked, I think, Matt's class one time, the first time. I don't know how he did there. He went back. He just told Matt, he said, I kept watching that video. I've watched that video probably 10 or 15 times. And this past weekend in his fifth competition he cooked at, he recorded the highest score ever recorded in SCA history. He had a 254.4 score out of a possible 254.5. He missed a perfect score by 1/10 of a point. It's the highest score ever recorded in SCA history. And this was the fifth competition that this man had ever cooked in his life. And he had just got through watching Matt's video. So, that was the one thing that Mark had told me, when he was interviewing me, and after he watched the video, he said, everything that you said is true. You really do get the information. So
Yep.
I want to give props to Mark for setting a record in SCA. Congratulations. He's not on here
Oh,
tonight, but we're going to at least
oh,
make sure that he gets it, because I think, the Bible talks about giving honor where honor is due.
right.
And I think on something like that, that is just absolutely unbelievable. So, but we've got everything set up. We've got sponsors that are on here. If you've got Matt's class, yes, thank you right there. Everything that's in Matt's class can be bought at Papa Joe's Grilling Supply. So they have all the stuff. We're working with certain vendors to actually carry the rubs. Brian Crawford does that. We've got another company that we're working on. They're carrying everything that we have in our class to make a one-stop shop. So, and to me, it's just a tribute of what these guys are doing, the way I try to get the information out of them. I think this man right here, Mr. Scott, his first ever SCA competition he ever cooked was about 4 weeks ago. First competition he went to. I think there was 50 or 60 teams. He had a 7th place call, and I think he told me
Wow.
13 of the top 20 teams in the points chase was there, and he had a 7th place call at his first competition.
That's
So the
awesome.
classes are great. Barbecue, steak, it doesn't matter. We try to get the information out of it, useful information. Our whole purpose was to try to grow this sport. And that's why I'm really looking forward to working with you, because I think we can work together, because you can get me information to, like, okay, there's competitions here, there. We want to get to all these places. We want to let everybody know, and being in your magazine is certainly going to help us, and we're going to probably continue to advertise in your
We
magazine to
hope
get the
so.
word out. So,
Absolutely, man. I will say this. The format that you guys are doing, I mean, when we talked about this the other day when we talked a little bit, but the timing of what you guys are doing, man, it would just it cannot be any more perfect.
yeah,
With all the virus stuff and all the social distance and classes in general changing the way they do format. I know, Myron back in the day was one of the first ones to ever really do some of the big classes. I mean, now his compound now, I mean, he'll host 100 folks or so, but early on, I mean, there was Ray Lampe. I went to some of Ray Lampe's first schools down in Lakeland, and they were really tell all, hands on. You know, you really got a grasp of how they won or how they did at a competition, of what they did or what they turned in at a competition. Same way with the way you guys are doing it. But the way you guys have done it and set it up with Barbecue Champs Academy is you're offering it to an unlimited number of people. Anybody who wants to win or wants to do better, it's right there in front of them. I mean,
right.
and I will say this, it's up to us when we do a live cooking school or some of the ones I've been to, man. I mean, I've got back here in the library back here. I mean, I've got some notebooks that are full from where I took notes during a 2-day class. The good thing about you guys, and you nailed it a while ago, and you said the guy Mark went back and looked at that video 15 times. Repetition of seeing it,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't duplicate that.
Right.
Me doing it live, I only see it once.
That's right. And you're only as good as the notes you take.
That's it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So tip of the cap to you guys, man. I really believe in what you guys have got going on, and I have no doubt. I think it's just the beginning of what's going to wind up turning into something really, really big.
Yeah, we're hoping it is. So, I mean, and it's been an amazing journey. It's very expensive. I mean, it is a lot of money to shoot these videos.
Oh yeah, early on, man.
They're shot in 4K. I mean, it's thousands of dollars. People don't realize it. It's thousands of. It's $4,000 just to shoot a steak class. It's $6,000 plus to shoot a barbecue class, and that's just that. Then it's the editing and this and that, and I mean, I mean, we're at 13 months, 14 months 15 months into this deal, and I'm just about to claw out of the red. So it's just the website and everything that we're doing and the hosting, and it costs a lot of money. I mean, it really does. But, it wasn't so much about the money. It was about growing the sport.
Right.
I took a huge risk. I mean, these guys walk in here and it cost them absolutely nothing. The only thing it cost
Right.
them is their time to come here and the meats that they cook and their rubs, and that's it. I take care of everything else.
Right.
And it was a huge risk. You know, I had 5 cooks filmed before we ever even launched this thing,
Right.
and you know, didn't know. It was just like, hey, I'm going to make it entertaining. I'm going to make it educational. I'm going to
Right.
make it where somebody is really interested in doing well for themselves and taking some classes. We're gonna take care of that. And
Right.
yeah, we've got a lot of testimonials. We've got a lot of amazing stories in the barbecue stuff, and now we're starting to get more and more steak cookers coming in, and it's just been an amazing thing. So, and I hope it just continues to grow. That's what we're trying. We're seeing it help the steak cookers tremendously. We've seen it help the barbecue
Oh
people.
yeah.
People that was struggling, hardly ever getting walks, they're consistently getting walks in top 10.
Well,
And
anytime, man, you can, and that's golly. When we started, this was you're gonna laugh at this when you talk about old school getting started, but back in the day, man, I mean, it was a big secret. Whatever your secret was,
hmm
you didn't tell people. I mean, because
yeah,
there was a limited number of events, and when you were really, really, really rolling, that was the last thing in the world. You wanted somebody to know what you were doing different that was tickling those taste buds
right,
because you didn't want to give up where
right,
you were headed.
right,
So
right,
everybody was and I kid you not, I saw some downright lies. Oh
right.
yeah, I cooked mine 425 or 15.
Yeah, yeah,
Knowing that ain't really what's happening.
right.
But I also saw a lot of backdoor peeking.
Yeah,
Back in those
shiggin,
days,
the old shiggin. Yeah,
trying to peek through, trying to see what was really going on. But
right.
it was a lot different then, man. And that's one thing that, and I contribute this to the family type deal that the barbecue steak in, that those groups have together, that bond. Man, now that people want to help you because it's enough to go around. There's enough events happening.
Right.
Want to see everybody see everybody get a little better.
Right.
And it really does. It is super expensive to go and do these events over and over and again. And when you just keep getting your teeth kicked in,
Yeah.
That's disheartening. I mean, that hurts
it is.
And that's
does.
the way we lose people in the sport.
That's it.
And so give them a helping hand, help them out by not doing it for them, but just help them out with what they're doing. Show them tips.
Yeah. You can give some tips and it helps, but if you want to get in the winner's circle, it's like, I don't know, several of our people have said, and we've got world champions galore in barbecue and in steak. I mean, just some of the people that we have,
Right.
Mark Lambert, 6-time world champion, Joey Smith. Joey, I don't know if you're still on here. I hope you are, because I got a message we're going to get out to you here in just a second. But Joey Smith, Mark Lambert, Craig Sherry, I mean, the list goes on. Corey Mikes, I mean, Robbie Royal right there in your backyard. Just the steak cookers. I mean, we got so many of them that are just world champions. Lee Hickel, our up and coming IBCA cooker of the year in 2019 and runner up in 2020. And it's just amazing. And when they came on, I said, guys, the one thing I asked, do not come on this show if you're not going to tell me what you do. I said, I don't want it. I just don't even show up. If you cannot agree to give us what you do, not come on the show, because this is an academy. This is a teaching school. This is education to help grow the sport. Give back to it. I'm not even good enough to be on my own cooking show. And I've won quite, and they all pick at me. You need to be doing a class. I don't have a world champion. I got some Louisiana State champions. I got 3 of those, but I don't have a world champion. And we're trying to stick with world champions or people that's won points champions and stuff like that. And I just say, this is to help people to grow this sport. And they've all said, the steak cookers and the barbecue cookers alike, you just said just a second ago, for the cost of one class in steak, you can skip one competition. One competition and take a class, and it's going to help you so much to learn some techniques, and how they go about doing it, that one class could very well send you into the right direction of getting into the top 10. Ask Scott, ask Mark. And
Yep.
I've got so many of them on here. And the
Yep.
same thing with the cookers. You know, they're spending $599 for an all access. Now, you think about it. It cost me a minimum of $500 to go to one competition. Entry fee, meat, brisket, ribs, this, gas, the whole 9 yards, any kind of little eats that we got. It's $500. I mean, for it's $600-700. For $599, you could take one class from one of these world champions, and they're going to get you in the right direction to get you consistent where you're going to have some walks.
Exactly.
And that's the key to it. So,
Yep.
Joey Smith, if you're on here, will you please give me a little comment? I don't know if you're still on here or not, because we got something we're going to talk about, and I definitely want Joey in on this as well. Anyway, but you know, and that's the thing. I mean, that's why I was very excited to see your magazine and what you're doing, and I think with us kind of working together and getting into different places, and you know, I want to see this sport grow. And I think COVID. What is your thoughts of what COVID has done? Now, it has not affected the state competitions. Thank goodness. I am so thankful that those guys and gals are being able to go out there. But I tell you what, it has put a damper on the barbecue stuff. Now, I cook in IBCA. We were going good at January, February, halfway through March, shut down. We were shut down for 6, 7, 8 weeks. They opened us up for about 5 weeks, thank goodness, so we could get a little run for those top 10 in the points chase.
Right.
Open up about 6 weeks, and then, I mean, come June the 1st, it was shut down till October the 1st. So we were shut down for 3 more months.
Right.
What do you see that it has done? Because you're out there. We're not. I'm a local. I'm around here. I know what's going on in Texas, Louisiana, IBCA. What are you seeing and what are you hearing in the barbecue?
Man,
People get discouraged, stuff like that, waiting. What you got?
So I'll be honest with you, man. In general, competition guys really are chomping at the bit to get back going. But at the same time, you know, it's going to be hard to see moving forward how the judging and all that stuff has changed as we get past this. Me personally, I will be very glad to see when we get to March of 2021 to the spring of next year and things. I really expect to see us get back to some type of judging room, or you know, in IBCA, you guys most time have your judges already spread out or in some type of big deal because you guys have large events. I mean, you guys have 100, 150 teams at an event. Most competitions on the East Coast are, they may be 30 or 40 teams, maybe 50 teams. So your judging's confined a little bit more than what you guys have there in Texas. But seeing how they socially distance and all that stuff now, I got the last event I went to was up here in Cumming, Georgia, just about a month ago. It was a KCBS deal with it. SCA was there too. They had a steak deal there going on, but man, it was different. I mean, you wipe down your box, and so you had to make sure your timing was a little different because you had to wipe the box down when you got to the judging area. So wiping your box down didn't make you in. You had to be in line after you wiped it down. So, there will be a ton of changes made, and I'm just honestly, I don't think they will stick forever and ever.
Right.
I think it's going to be much like football or concerts and all that stuff. I think, right now everybody's kind of being careful, the social distance and the mask and all that stuff, which I think we need to be. We need to be careful. We need to watch out for one another. That's just being an American to me, or being, what I am.
Right.
Because I care about other people. I don't want other people to get anything I've got or whatever. If I can help them out, I will. But I think eventually we're going to put all that behind us and go back and get back to some normalcy of what we used to do. I don't see it changing us forever and ever. Now, I will say the restaurant, the professional guys, the catering guys, a lot of that stuff, the buffet eating or whatever, you just put it out. I think a lot of that's going to change. And honestly, probably some of it needed to change just from some of the stuff I had seen over the years in some of those different places. But I think you're going to see a lot of people stay with the takeout windows. You'll see a lot of barbecue joints, selling by the pound now.
Right.
Whether it be sides or meat. I think you'll see a lot of that going forward. Whereas before, going in, sitting down was a big thing. And I think you're still going to get back to that eventually.
Right.
But I don't think the drive-in windows are ever going to go away again.
No.
I think if you open up, you'll automatically have a drive-in window.
Yeah, you pretty much have to in case something like this ever happen again. You're open for business. Have you heard any competition cookers barbecue that have just gotten discouraged or just the break? They've seen the break and they're just like, you know what? That you didn't realize how much you're dug into it until you get this little break. And all of a sudden you're like, man, I've got time. I didn't even realize I had time. and I've heard some teams that are saying, I'm taking the break. This has been enjoyable, and I don't know if I'm going to go back to cooking again. Have you heard anything like that?
Man, honestly, I hadn't. I mean, the people that I've talked to, all our friends, man, they're just like, paying attention, watching the calendar. Hey, I got one, coming up so-and-so, and I'm excited. I'm getting this first time I've been out in 2 months, 3 months, or whatever. And so that's the feedback that I'm getting from folks. I would guess if somebody was getting discouraged from the break, they may not have been in the sport very long, or may not have done very well in the sport very long. So they would. But that's just a guess off of my top of my head.
One of these teams has been one of the hot hitting teams, and his concern is he was cooking so much, doing 35, 40 competitions a year, just boom, 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 that all of a sudden, for the first time in 2 or 3 years, I'm sitting down. I'm like, wow, I've got some time. I can get some things done. And realize there's other things in life other than just running and gunning and going to these barbecue competitions. And
it's a hard life, man.
It's tough. People don't. Yeah, it's very, very, very difficult. So, and you see, I mean, even and I say this because he's my neighbor. He lives close, but I mean, you even look at Meyer, and that cat used to be on the road. Oh yeah. 40 weeks a year, and people would be like, how do you do that? How do you do that? Well, Michael and David, his youngins grew up on the road with him, right?
Doing that.
Yeah.
And it takes a toll after a while if you, especially if you're not winning and getting them bills paid or whatever. But when you look at those guys that just go 40 weeks a year, Craig Sherry, I mean, golly, some of those guys in your neck of the woods.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see where those guys would sit back and actually look around and say, start smelling the roses per se, and say, man, it might be time to slow down a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I've got one other thing that I want to talk about. I don't know, I'm trying to look around and see who's in. I was seeing if Joey Smith was in here, and let's see what we've got. Just got the class. Okay, straight legit. Yeah, Matt, the road is tough, Matt. There's no doubt.
Oh yeah, he knows.
Yeah, you can always. Matt knows after last year. That's it. You can always cook steak competitions. Yeah, you can. They're easy. They are a lot easier, not near as hard as what the barbecue stuff is.
True.
One of the things that I want to touch on real quick is about a competition, rub that you've got going on.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about this. So I want everybody to listen up that's got rubs out there. And hopefully you're catching this now. And if you didn't, you should have been on Barbecue Champs Academy Live at 7 o'clock Central on Tuesday nights, and you would have caught this. So I'm going to go over here real quick because I pulled it back up. And we're going to go over here to a real quick screen share, and let me just go over here. This right here. Barbecue News Magazine 2020 Rubs of Honor. We're looking for the best barbecue rub to complement a particular meat, protein, chicken, beef, or pork, beef, and seafood. Deadline is November the 2nd. This is one of the most asked questions I get as a publisher of National Barbecue News, says Kell Phelps. And I realized I don't even have an answer, but this could change that. That's pretty cool. So tell us about this rub deal that you've got going on. What's it cost? Is it free to enter? Is there any prize money? Was it bragging rights? What is it?
So basically, we have two different competitions every year. We have a Rubs of Honor in the fall, and in the spring we have a Sauces of Honor.
Okay.
Basically, what we're trying to do is basically what it reads. We're trying to find the best rub that complements chicken, the best rub that complements pork, beef, or seafood. So there's 4 different categories.
Okay.
And anybody can enter. Does not have to be commercially ready. We even take your little grandpa's secret recipe that he left, and we'll use it. And you can enter it. Every category to enter is $30.
Okay. Per category. Okay.
Per category, right?
Okay.
So, what we actually do is something you probably never seen or could even imagine being done in a rub contest. We will actually take a boneless, skinless chicken thigh, and we will put your rub on that thigh, 2 thighs. Ever how many judges we have, whatever we need to have, we'll actually prepare that protein using the same exact amount of rub for each entry. Okay. And we cook it for our judges that we use.
Okay.
And what we do is we have 4 winners. We don't have an overall winner, but we have a chicken winner, a pork winner, a beef winner, and a seafood winner.
Okay.
Basically, if it's already commercially available, you'll win a $750 advertising contract with the magazine.
Cool.
So we'll help promote your product that way. Okay. And if not, we'll try to set you up and give you a $750 advance to get you going, so that you could bottle and get you into one of our partners there out of Memphis with Ingredients Corporation, who's a sponsor of ours.
Oh, wow. So you'll help somebody if it's a mom and pop or it's a backyard rub. You will get the money to them to help get them set up to take that and get it commercially available. Exactly. Man, Kell, that is absolutely awesome.
As a matter of fact, Be Extreme, man.
Yeah, he just put on here. You see this? I'm in. Wait a minute, we got one more here. Matt Overson, I'm in, and he wants to know this. What do you do for the seafood, and what do you apply it to? So
here we go. So our chicken, we use boneless, skinless thighs.
Okay.
For our beef, we use a sirloin steak.
Okay. Danny?
In our pork, we use a pork steak, which is
pork steak. Yep, the pork butt shave.
Take a Boston butt, slice it up, and then we grill it off.
Yeah.
And then the seafood, we're using shrimp.
Shrimp. I had a feeling it was going to be shrimp. So
yeah, we skewer them up, and then we can do them. It's just it's kind of easy. But each rub is prepared and given to the judges using their rub. So it's not just taking it and putting your finger in it and which one's the best, because that's really not.
That's not good. You're putting it on a protein where you can taste it, what it tastes like, man. Right. So got something for you. Yeah, he does. Let me see back here. Let me see, which one is it? It wouldn't be this one, would it, Matt? Is that the one you're talking about, Matt? Huh? No. Come on. Go on and hit it. Go ahead and hit it. Go ahead and give me that comment, Matt. Is that the one that it is? You got something for him? That's
But
some good stuff.
yeah,
So
so when we do the same thing with our sauces in the spring, we actually cook. Now we'll use the boneless, skinless chicken thighs again. We'll use pork butt that we actually cook. We cook all that stuff unseasoned, and then we actually use that unseasoned meat to dip in the sauce, and then that's what we
and
try.
that's what they're doing. So he didn't say that. Here's the one that he's going to hit you with.
The garlic
The
butter.
Cajun garlic butter. I'm telling you right now, that is probably even better than the other one. Matt's
You
got
know,
some amazing product. He's got a Cajun garlic butter. He's got his Wicked Pig marinade. He's got his Cajun seasoning, which is absolutely awesome as well. He has got some absolutely amazing.
awesome.
And I'll tell you what, I'm just going to go on and give him a shout out with this stuff right here. This is his Wicked Pig tenderizer. It's a meat tenderizer. And I
That
tell
was
you right
like
now,
a special jar because I saw you go way back. And
yeah, I hide this one. So anyway, but it's an amazing product, and Matt, you did an absolute awesome job. So I know you're in on it, and I know that I know B Extreme is in on it. Joey's done got off, but I'm gonna get my buddy Joey at Texas Chrome because he's just kind of really gotten into getting it out there.
We've had their stuff before.
Joey's,
I
yep.
remember
So
the name.
he's really got it. It's Texas Chrome. Yes, you cannot beat the Cajun dust. Can't be beat on shrimp, and it won the World Food Champion. Yep, I got that one right behind me. So
How about that?
I keep them. I got plenty of rubs. That one is very, very good.
Man, the big extreme, all of those.
All that. I'll tell you right
off
now.
the chain.
There's a couple of these that I'm trying to find. I've got a couple of them over here. I don't want to keep. The Stampede dust is really good. That Texas dust. Man, I tell you, that one right there. I absolutely love that Texas dust. That stuff is absolute. Danny, that's the one that you need to turn in. Now, I guess on your steak, you're going to turn in your steak dust. Trust the dust. You can't beat it. That stuff right there on a steak, that stuff right there, Mr. Terry Roan, I don't know if you still on here, buddy, but I know you and Danny and heck, probably Richard, y'all were probably all working on that. That stuff right there is some absolutely delicious rubs. So
Let's see. I think back in March, I think the last event we did with the tour, we were in Jessup, Georgia, and that's where Mr. Terry and them were at. Mm-hmm. We actually did a product review on all of those rubs, man. Yeah. So we actually gave them to Raymond Cato. He's a local cook here out of Willacoochee, Georgia, if you can believe that. But
wow.
So he's our guy, man. So we turned them all over to him, and he writes all about the new products and stuff we have. And but yeah, we actually got to review all that stuff for those guys, and they turned their sauce in and wound up winning in the sauce category. So sure did.
Yeah, I had to grab. I don't want to leave everybody out. I know John Lindsay's got his all queued up. I'm going to talk to him about entering his because that's a good one. He's got his big beef. I've got those two. There's one more I can't get to yet, but he's got a great rub. I mean, his steak rubs are very good. They've got a good flavor as well. So that's the thing. I mean, I think Danny had said at one time. He said, it is enough room for so many different people in this because there's 1,000 different ways that you can go about using these things in any different combination. You can use a little of this, a little of this, and that's what makes it so good. I think just having one rub, nobody uses one rub. I mean, you're going to use a combination of rubs, especially in barbecue, and I'm sure even some of these steak guys, they're layering a little this, layering a little that, layering a little this, and it's all about you putting them combinations that all of a sudden, hey, I got something that stands out. Exactly. And, it's hard to make rubs for everything. Denny's got a great rub, but you might compare it with something else and may pair it with this. And all of a sudden, it just takes that steak just to all these different flavors that are crazy. So, and that's,
me and Meathead, we were talking, and he's believe it or not, he used to be a wine connoisseur. He used to judge wines and wrote some ways that wrote a program on how to go about judging wine, and what it pairs with and all those things. And man, and we actually got to talking about how pairing different rubs and mixing them together, man, it's opened up a whole new realm, especially in the competition world. Yeah. And people have no idea at how much the flavor profiles have changed since I was a kid. I mean, when we first started it, it was sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet, to the point where there for a while in the early 90s, barbecue lost. To me, competition barbecue, if you didn't make it comatose with sugar,
right,
you probably weren't going to win.
Right.
But now,
no, it's more balanced
man,
and savor, and
a long way from that.
yeah, it's very balanced. A little sweet, little heat, little
Yep.
tang, little savory. It's you touch all corners of that box and being right in the middle. That's kind of what Mark Lambert talks about in his class.
Yep.
And that's the thing. I can take this rub, I can take this rub, I can take this rub, and I can layer flavors to get the flavor profile that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And that's what
Yeah.
makes it so great, and I think so important. And I mean, all these guys have got great product. Craig
Absolutely.
Sherry's got some stuff, and I'm going to talk to Craig Sherry about getting his stuff in here. He's got some new rib rubs and chicken rubs, and
I'll tell you what,
he's got a bunch of them.
If he sends some, you make sure he sends some of that pineapple habanero.
Oh yeah.
We use that on the hot wings, man.
Yes, that is some good stuff. So I mean, and that's the good thing. I mean, he's just came out with a rib rub, a chicken rub, and a brisket rub, and then he's got these other rubs that are like his chipotle, his jalapeno, and his other one is 3 pepper, and very good. I mean, that dadgum 3 peppers almost tastes like a steakhouse rub. It's really unique and very good. And, I mean, that's the thing. I'd like to get all these guys, and Danny's got, Danny, you're going to have to turn in that sauce. He came out with a new sauce, and I don't have it on my shelf. I got it over there. And I'm telling you, that sauce that he's got is outstanding. I mean, and he won. I mean, he turned it in a competition somewhere. He got first place in one of them, and Danny, I don't know what it was. I can't. I know it was first place in one. I think the other one was in the top as well. And but that's the cool thing about it, and I really like the way that you're going about doing it. I like that you're putting it on a piece of protein and you're not just sampling it out of the bottle. Yeah. That's never good. I mean, because it's going to have a completely different flavor profile when you put it on a piece of protein.
If it's a really good barbecue rub right out of the bottle, if you're not a diehard barbecue guy, it's probably not going to be real good. It's probably going to be a little salty, may even be a little sweet. But
absolutely.
You really cook it into a protein, let it marinate into it. You got really no idea what you got.
Okay, barbecue news, first place. So was this at your competition in the sauce? Was this the one?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes,
okay. I kept wanting to think it was, but I remember the results was after the spring, and it may have just taken a little while to get it out there. Okay. So yeah, I'll tell you what, that was an amazing sauce. It was very, very good.
Oh, my gosh. Yes.
I mean, it's very good. Well, does anybody have any questions out there for Kell or me or anybody? Or, if you do, shoot them to us. It's been about an hour mark. We're going to get ready to wrap this thing up. And if you got any questions, look, first thing I would say is go get a copy of this magazine. You can get the printed version if you want a print for $24. Is that right? $25. $25 for a 1-year subscription of a printed version. Hold it up. Let me take a look at it. The printed version. You got it right there by you?
Yeah.
So you can get a glossy finish. Yeah. Look at that beautiful steak. Man, that's award-winning steak right there. And you can get $25. You can get that. Or you can get 2 years, the last 12 months plus the 12 months future, digital for $15 $15. You know what, guys? That's a great deal. It keeps you in tune and kind of keeps you going with what is going on. And I think that to me is so important. Just to support you. It keeps this thing going. It keeps the tradition of barbecue going, and to me, that's absolutely awesome. So, Scott,
I appreciate it. And I just got to say one more time, we're honored to do this as it's our livelihood. But without our contributors, without the guys who are doing the product reviews, who are writing, on a monthly basis, without the guys competing the Matt Oversons and the Mark Lamberts and all those guys going out and giving us something to write about or report on, it really it wouldn't be there. It wouldn't happen.
Right,
And even the guys holding the events, we wouldn't have any event calendar. So it's really a tribute and a testimony to all those guys who are going and doing. So that's what it's all about.
Yeah. All right, Manny, you're asking, where's the B&B orange bag at? B&B charcoal has been so slammed, they just can't get caught up. But I do know that Papa Joe's Grilling Supply in Texas, the last I heard, they had a few pallets of it. I'm not sure if they still have a lot. Some of the academies are getting stocked back up again, so you're just going to have to look around. Here's the one thing I do know. If you have an Ace Hardware store nearby, you can order it through Ace Hardware. You can have it shipped to your store closest to you, and you can go pick it up. That I do know. I don't know if you live close to Texas, and there's no shipping involved, so that'll help. And Vanessa, I'm sure you can tell us if you've got some of that B&B charcoal, if y'all can ship it out. Manny, you can look them up. They're one of our sponsors. Go to Barbecue Champs Academy. Go down to the bottom where all our sponsors are, and there's Papa Joe's Grilling Supply. Click it, and it'll take you right over there to them. They can ship. Shipping charcoal probably is not going to be the cheapest thing, but that's just the best way that I can tell you to get it. If you're not around an academy or somebody like that you can check regularly, go to Ace Hardware. See if you got an Ace Hardware store close to you. You can order it, and they'll ship it to your local store, and you're good. So, drove 2.5 hours to find 5 small bags. Yeah, it's hard to find right now, but it's some out there. You just have to look around. Anyway, let's see. Yep, Danny, appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Yep, definitely. Raymond, I agree with. This is a great guy. I was so glad to get introduced to him. And I'm just honored to be part of this magazine, and honored to have you as part of Barbecue Champs Academy. And yes, we have it in stock, and it's the shipping that costs. Yeah, unfortunately, that's the problem. So, Manny, just look around. It's out there. Look at your Ace Hardware. See if you got an Ace Hardware nearby, and maybe that'll help you. Kell, I think that's it. Seems like we got everybody once again, man. I appreciate you being on here. Thanks to all of our loyal listeners. Tell your family and friends about us. We want more and more people to get here where they can find out. We always try to share all this information. We got a lot of good stuff. I'm not sure exactly who we're going to have on here next week, but he may be on this show. So we'll find out. I'm going to reach out to him and see. And we got a lot of things coming. We got a lot of things happening at Barbecue Champs Academy that I think our customers are going to love, and we're going to just keep working at it. Kell, once again, thank you for being an honored guest tonight. Thank you for what you're doing for the sport of barbecue and steak competitions, and the restaurants the restaurants as well. Thank you so much. Guys and gals, until next time, have a lot of fun and smoke on, and we'll see you next week, Lord willing.